Hello everyone. Today we will discuss about some more interesting point in this chapter, that is heredity and evolution. We will now give some of the evidences which indicates the occurrence of evolution. These evidences will clear the view that the living organisms have evolved from common ancestors. Some of the important sources which provide evidences for evolution are homologous organ, okay, which is also known as the morphological and anatomical evidences, okay. So these are those organs which have same structure, their structure is same as well as their origin is same, but they perform different function according to their need. They divert into the different environment and then they perform their different function. Just simple definition is they have same structure, okay, but different function. A very simple definition, different function, okay. Let me explain you with the help of this diagram, okay. This is given in your book that in case of animals, okay, these are the different animals which is given here. There is a frog, lizard, bird and humans, okay. So what you observe here, look at their arrangement of bones. Look at the arrangement of bones of their four limbs. They all have humerus, radius, ulna, carpals, metacarpus and phalangeal. Look at this. They all have. Let me change the color. They all have this humerus. This is the humerus bone. Here is also humerus bone is present. Got it? There is a radius, ulna. Okay, radius, ulna, everything is present here. Okay, as well as the carpals. These are the carpals. Yes, here the carpals are also present. Carpals are present in the frog, lizard, birds and human, as well as they have phalanges, okay, the finger digit, these are the phalanges, okay. So what you observe that all of these have same structure, the arrangement of bones of their four limbs are just same, but what are their functions? Okay, so I prove it that their structure is same and their origin is same, but they perform different function. Okay, so let me explain you this point also, that frog use their four limbs for proper. While in case of man, in case of human beings, why they use their four limb? They use their four limb just for the grasping. Okay, they use their four limb just for the grasping. Okay, while frog use it for the proper. Okay, while in case of lizard, why lizard use their four limb? They use for the running. Use it for the running. As well as if I am talking about the birds, the four limbs of the birds as well as the bat also, they have same structure, but they are modified as a flying. Okay, they modified for flying. Okay, so what you observe that their origin is same, I mean to say their structure is same, they all have the typical arrangement of bones, okay, while their functions are different. Okay, while their functions are different. This is a very common and very simple structure. Okay, since the four limbs of a human, a lizard, a frog and a bird have similar structures, I mean to say similar design, but perform different functions, and they are the homologous organ. Okay, so what they indicate, it tells us that the human, lizard, frog, a bird and a man all have evolved from a common ancestor. Okay, this is what we want to prove it. Okay, so here's a proper definition is given. These are the organs that have same basic structural plan and origin, but their functions are different. Okay, so birds and bat evolved they modified their four limbs for flying. Okay, so this is a very good example of homologous organ. Now next evidence is analogous organ that provide evidence for evolution. So these are the organs with different structure. Let me read this. These are the organs that have different origin and structure plan but same function. Okay, so how it will prove? Yes, here I am going to write it. Yes. So what I told you, their origin is same. Look at this, their origin is same, but they perform similar functions. Okay, all of them perform a similar function. Okay, it means to say they have no common ancestor. Here no common ancestor is present. Common ancestor is present. Okay, so let me give you example. Wings of an insect. Look at this. This is the wings of insect. okay, and here is the wing of a bird. What they indicate? What you observe from this? Yes, tell me. They have different structure. Can you see this? The insects have a fold of membrane on the wings, okay. They have folds of membrane on their wings, okay, which are associated with a few muscles, whereas a skeletal flesh and feathers are present in the bird's wings, okay. What are present in their bird's wing? They are made up of a skeleton, flesh, as well as the feathers. These supports bird's wings, but they perform the same function, okay. So their function is same. What are their function? Yes, function is their flying, okay. So they perform similar function of flying. Got it? Since the wings of insects and bird have different structure, I mean to say they show different designs but perform similar functions, they are analogous organ, okay. So the presence of analogous organs, what it indicate? It indicate that even the organisms having organs with different structure, look at their structure, these are so much different, okay, but they perform similar function for their survival under hostile environmental conditions, okay, just for the survival, just to survive in an environment, okay, they change their function, got it, according to their need. They can still evolve to perform similar function to survive, to flourish and keep on evolving in the prevailing environment, okay. So the analogous organs actually provide a mechanism for evolution. So with the help of these example, wings of bat and wings of bird, it is clear that their structures are not same, because bats they have elongated fingers with the skin folds, while in birds feathery curving along the arms, okay. So their structure is different, but they perform similar function, that is flight, okay. Now let me talk about the next evidence of evolution, which is fossil, okay. So fossil is also known as the paleontological evidence. Why? Because study of fossil is known as the paleontology, okay. That's why this is also known as paleontological evidence. So do you know what do you mean by the fossils? These are the hard part remains of an organism, got it, of an organism. Now let me explain you who is organism here. It may be a plant or it may be animals, okay, the organism. And what are the hard part which is present in a organism, such let me take examples of plant first of all. Tell me, which is the hard part in the plant? Yes, exactly, wood. Wood is the hard part. And what are the different hard part in case of animals? The most hardest part is bone. Yes, their bone, their skull, as well as their teeth. Okay, so these are the hard part remains. I mean to say teeth, bones, their shells, wood. Okay, the remain of an organism. This is just known as the fossils. Clear? Is that clear to everyone? So they are preserved traces of the living organism. Okay, so fossil provide evidence for evolution. Now look at this diagram. Yes, look at this diagram. Who is this? Do you know about this? Yes, this is known as the Archaeopteryx. Okay, this is a fossil bird. Fossil bird, Archaeopteryx. It looks like a, does it look like a bird? Yes, exactly, it looks like a bird. That's why I have written the name fossil bird, okay. But it has many other features which are found in reptiles also. That's why it is a connecting link between the bird and the reptile. Now let me tell you the features of bird. Yes, can you observe with the help of this diagram what are the different features? Yet in this diagram, which is the feature of bird? Feather winged. First feature is the feathered wing. They have feathered wings, okay, like those of the birds, got it. But they have teeth also. Do you observe it here? Yes, look at this, they have teeth also. Is the teeth is feature of any bird? No, teeth is not a feature of bird. And even they have tail also. So tail and teeth it looks like reptiles. Okay, so they have teeth and tail also, which is important feature of reptiles, not a feature of birds. Got it? That's why I am saying the Archaeopteryx is a connecting link between a reptiles and a bird, very important. Hence suggests that the birds have evolved from the reptiles. Got it? Birds have evolved from the reptiles. Okay, which is written here. Now, let's talk about the topic how fossils are formed. Yes, tell me. As I told you that fossils are the hard part to remain of an organism. Is it clear? So, usually what happens here, when an organism means to say when a plant or an animals, okay, when a plant or an animals, they die now, then their bodies start decomposing. The bodies, they start decomposing, okay, decompose. And how they decompose? By the action of microorganism, okay, in the presence of oxygen and moisture. And where these are found, do you know about that? The fossils are found in the sedimentary rock. So, let me show you here. Here it is given that fossils are found in the sedimentary rock. The deeper the soil, older it is. Okay. So, write down sedimentary rock. Okay. So, yes, what I told you, that deeper the soil, older it is. Who died earlier? Fossils are formed deeper layer. Okay. In the lower layer, deeper layer. This is the deeper layer who died earlier. Okay. So, those who died later, the fossils are formed in the upper layer. Clear? So, detecting the ratios of difference of the same elements in the fossil materials, radiocarbon dating is used. Okay, this technique is used to indicate the difference of the same element of the fossil material. Got it? So, how it will work? Actually, all the living objects contain some carbon-14 atom. What they contain? They contain carbon-14 atoms, okay, which are radioactive. These are radioactive. Got it? So, when a living object die and forms fossils, its carbon-14 atoms goes on decreasing gradually. Okay. So, in the carbon dating method, the age of fossils is found by comparing the carbon-14 radioactivity left in fossils with the carbon-14 radioactivity present in the living objects. There are various kinds of fossils. Some of the important fossils which has been studied are those of the ammonite. Okay, this is the fossil of ammonite. Okay, and here is the fossil of trilobite, and the last one is the fossil of dinosaur. Okay, so ammonites, what are these? Ammonites are the invertebrates. These are invertebrate, okay, animals. Which invertebrate animals? You have studied about the different type of phylum now. So, it belongs to the, it looks like, yes, can you tell me? It looks like a mollusca, yes, with the flat, coiled, spiral shell. Can you observe it? Their shell is coiled, spiral also, okay, and here the spiral shell is present, and it belongs to the molluscus, okay, which lived in the sea. The estimation of the age of ammonite fossils have told us that they are about 180 million years old. Yes, they are about 180 million years old. This means that ammonites live in the sea about 180 million years ago. Okay, another invertebrate animal fossils which have been studied is that of the trilobite. Yes, this is another one. So, let me highlight it, just give me a second. Okay, so let me highlight all of these things. Okay, sorry, first one is the ammonite, trilobite and dinosaurs. Okay, so here I am to write it. Yes. So, what I told you, trilobites. Trilobites were the marine arthropods. Okay, these are the marine arthropods. Okay, these were the mollusks, while these are the marine arthropods. The first point, first important points, which were common between the 400 to 600 millions years ago. 400 to 600 millions years ago. Look at their structure. Look at this. Okay, so and next one is the dinosaur. Dinosaurs are extinct carnivorous or herbivorous reptiles. Okay, these are reptiles. They belongs to the class reptiles. Okay, and the estimation of the age of dinosaur fossils have told us that they were first appeared on Earth about 250 million years ago. But become extinct about 65 million years ago. So, it is clear from these discussion that we can even study about those species which are extinct, but studying their fossils which are found during the digging of earth. So, it is also clear that fossils are obtained by digging into the earth. Okay, by digging into the earth. And how you will estimate the age of fossils? Yes, with the help of carbon dating method. Got it? It is clear to everyone? Now, let us talk about the evolution by stages. So, evolution takes place in stages, that is bit by bit generation. First of all, evolution of eyes. Okay. So, as you all know that eye is a very important organ for animals. The eye is not a very simple organ, it is a complicated, yes, it is a complicated organ which cannot be generated by a single DNA change. Okay, so the complex body organs, that is eye, it takes so much time to change. It has been created in stages over many generations. First of all the rudimentary eye, that is the basic eye. Okay, let me explain you. That is the basic eye, like that of a flatworm, which is given here. Look at the diagram. It is the diagram of flatworm, which is also known as the planaria. Okay, planaria. Okay, clear? So, the eyes of a flatworm are very simple, that are actually just eye drops, that are actually looks like an eye drop. Look at this, just like eye drops, which can detect light. Even these rudimentary eyes provide a survival advantage to flatworms, but starting from this basic design, this is the basic design of eye. Okay, more and more complex eyes were evolved time to time in various organisms. Most of the animals have eyes. For example, let me give an example. Eye of an insect. Okay, eye of an octopus. Even the eye of other invertebrates also. All have eyes. Do you know that all have eyes? Yes. The structure of eyes in each of these organisms is different. Their structure is different. Different eye means to say their structure is different, which suggests their separate evolutionary origins. Okay, it is just also an example of analogous organ, that their structure is different. Okay, the evolution of eye is an example of evolution of stages as well as the evolution of this is an also example of analogous organ. Why? Because their structure is different, their eye structure is different, but they perform different function of to see something. Okay, a different function of visualization. Next example in the case of evolution by stages is the evolution of feathers. Yes, birds have evolved feathers. Birds have feathers, as you all know that birds have feathers. And what are the main purpose of feather that time, not this time? Okay, birds evolve feather as a means of providing insulation to their body. Okay, just for the insulation to their body in cold weather. Okay, in cold weather. but later on these feathers become more useful for the purpose of flying. They are used for the purpose of flying. So even some dinosaurs had feathers, though they could not fly by using these feathers, but yes, they had also feathers. Birds, however, adopted feathers for flying. They adopt their feathers for flying, okay, instead of using it as an insulator. So the presence of feathers on birds tell us that the birds are very closely related to the reptiles, because dinosaurs which had feathers were also reptiles. Okay, so it will link the birds and the reptiles. Got it? Now let's talk about the evolution by artificial selection. Okay, so in the evidence for evolution, we have studied that very dissimilar looking structures can evolve from a common ancestral body design, isn't? But that all was just a guess about what happened in history long time ago. Now here I am going to give you an example from the present time. Now look at this wild cabbage plant is a good example to prove that entirely different looking organisms can evolve from the same organism by the process of evolution. But the only difference is that here we are using artificial selection for evolution in place of natural selection. Got it? Here wild cabbage is the ancestor. Okay, wild cabbage is the ancestor, and cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower, kohlrabi and the kale as well as the red cabbage, all are its varieties which have been obtained by evolution. How they all are obtained by evolution? Just as induced. These are induced artificially, okay, by the farmers. The ordinary cabbage, broccoli, cauliflower and the kale look so different from their ancestor wild cabbage. Look at this. All these are varieties of wild cabbage, but all these looks very different from their ancestors. Okay, that if people had not seen it being done with their own eyes, they would never have believed that vegetables having such different structures can be evolved from the same ancestral vegetable plants. So according to their need, farmers grew different varieties of wild cabbage. Okay, some of them wanted to have very short distance between the leaves of wild cabbage, then they produce a common varieties of cabbage. Okay, while some farmers went in for a sterile flowers of the wild cabbage and developed another variety of cabbage such as the cauliflower. Okay, and finally the farmers wanted to grow large leaves of wild cabbage. Okay, then they start producing a leafy vegetable which is known as the kale. Clear? So these are different varieties of only a wild cabbage. The wild cabbage here is the ancestors, okay, and all of these are the varieties of these ancestors. Now the conclusion is that from wild cabbage, many varieties like broccoli, cauliflower, red cabbage, kale, cabbage, kohlrabi were obtained by artificial selection, and wheat also. Same thing happened with the wheat plant also. Okay. Now let's talk about the last topic, that is human evolution. Human evolution has been studied by using the various tools of tracing evolutionary relationships like excavating, such as the digging earth, carbon dating or time dating, studying different fossils and determining DNA sequence, that is determination of DNA sequence. Although there is great diversity of human forms all over the world, yet all humans are a single species. All humans were come from Africa. The earliest members of the human species, that is Homo sapiens, can be traced there. Okay, where they traced there? They traced in the at the Africa. Okay, our genetic footprints can be traced back to our African roots. It means to say that our genetic footprints tell us that we have African roots. About 100,000 years ago, Some of our ancestors left Africa while others stayed back. Those who left Africa slowly spread across the whole world. So this is all about your chapter heredity and evolution. Okay, thank you and have a nice day. Is heredity and evolution.